Hey, hey. So here we go with Relentless Momentum. I see a lot of you guys, waiting for the right time, to do everything, to get fit, to get the perfect job, you know, waiting for the right time just to get your shit together, probably waiting to get lucky. Some people spend their life buying lotto tickets, holding back on what they should be doing because they just think someone or something is going to save them. And truth is, nothing's going to save you, man. You're going to have to save yourself because no one really cares at the end of the day what you're going through and that it's overwhelming and that you thought it might work out a little bit better because really that's your trip and everyone's going through something. So, sometimes you can just get so overwhelmed with the things that you can't do. And I've always had a saying, my favourite saying, is worry about what you can do, not what you can't do. And see, you can just sit around forever just thinking, well, I can't do this. I'll give you an example. Like, people say to me, I see them, they've put on all this weight and haven't been to the gym for a while. I say, hey, what's up? What happened? Oh, I hurt my foot, so I couldn't train. I'm like, what about, your waist, your arms, your chest, your back, your shoulders, maybe even your quads you could do. Maybe just calves you can't do or cardio you can't do, but you can do something. You can do a high-intensity workout with weights without any cardio or whatever it may be, or someone, have an upper body injury, so stop training completely. And if you think the other way, you think, well, what a great opportunity for my legs to catch up to my upper body or to work on my core strength or to do something that I'm not doing. And you see, this is the whole point about worrying about what you can't do. Because if you worry about what you can't do, you're screwed. You'll just sit around and do nothing. When I first opened my first Doherty's gym in Union Street, Brunswick, man, I was so broke. And I'll tell you some stories about this as we go on with these podcasts, but how broke? Well, we used to open at 6 in the morning and close at 9 or 10 at night, and I'd do the whole shift, all the hours myself. But better still, in the morning, I'd actually sleep at the gym on a couch because I didn't have a bed. I'd set a duffel bag and a garbage bag with my clothes and shoes in it. Didn't have anything else. So what I'd do is get up at like 5 in the morning and I'd go up to the nearest, I'd have a shower, then I'd go up to the nearest McDonald's, which is just a few hundred metres away, and get a coffee and a newspaper. So I'd walk back to the front door and there'd be people waiting out the front, waiting for the gym to open at 6. I'd be like, hey, good morning, everybody. Wow, that tram was hectic. Or I'd just make up some story about my journey to work. So it looked like I'd come from somewhere. And then I'd do the whole hours from 6 in the morning through till 9 at night. I'd wait for the last person to leave. I'd lock up the doors and they'd all be sitting out the front telling, bouncer stories or something, about how they won all these fights and slayed all these women or whatever, and they'd be sitting there for so long afterwards. So I'd go hide behind a tree in the adjacent car park, wait for everyone to go, then I'd let myself back into the gym, crash on the couch, and repeat, every day for hundreds of days straight, 7 days a week. I had 3 things that I actually owned. One was a rice cooker, one was like a vertical grill, and the couch. So I didn't have a TV or anything. I'd had a car, but I'd swapped it for a lat pull down. And this other car, which I sold at half of what it was worth because the power had been cut off. And if I got the money, I could get the power put back on. So I ended up, no car, no house, just nothing. So the reason I'm telling you this is because this is when I developed this mindset of worrying about what you can do. So, I'd get up and I'd think, I'd love to have some new equipment for the gym because everything was second-hand or busted or traded or, I just found it, whatever I could do to have enough equipment. Had some pictures up to give the place some atmosphere, but I had no cardio equipment. I'd be like, I'd love to buy a treadmill. I'd love to buy a new leg press. But there were $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 at the time. I didn't have $500, let alone $5,000 to buy a treadmill. So I'd stop and say to myself, well, what can you do? And I think, well, for $80 I can get a can of paint. So I'd get a can of paint and I'd paint a whole wall in one day. So the people would come in that night after work to go to the gym and go, wow, this looks good, or you're always doing something. Another day, for example, I'd have no money, so, well, I'll move all the equipment around. So I'd cut the Dynabolts off from the floor where the power racks were and move them to the other side of the gym, and then move the dumbbell racks across to the other side. And people would come and say, wow, this guy's always doing something. He really cares about the place. I'd clean and mop and do the mirrors and all this sort of thing every single day, so that whenever anybody walked in, I wasn't like this boring guy sitting there at the desk. Now it's playing on the phone. Back then it was probably like reading a magazine or something with your feet up. I'd never do that. I just think, when it gets busy, I need to be busy. So this is how I developed this mindset of thinking about what you could do and not what you can't do. And then I figured there's always something you can do. You can always buy a can of paint. You can always move something around. You can always change the order of things. You can always talk to people. You can always upskill. And it might not be, with your qualifications or your certificates of your learning about movement or kinesiology or physiology or nutrition. It might just be the study of people and the understanding of psychology and the understanding of what makes people tick. So this is where I'd put my focus in working on, being a better operator, having better people skills and all that sort of thing. But I know time and time again when I just think, I wish I could buy this, or I wish I could do this for my business. I wish I could run this kind of marketing campaign, but I didn't have any money. So what can I do? What can I do? I can buy a can of paint. I can move stuff. I can, I can just work on my skills and clean and just make the place dynamic for when people walk in, make sure it always smells like nice and looks good. So this is the whole thing. And how many of you, if you ask yourself honestly, haven't gone ahead following your dream and your passion because you're so worried about, I would, but I can't do this, or I don't have the time, or I can't afford it, or it's too much risk. So therefore you do nothing, and then you just burn yourself out with boredom and complacency and end up like everyone else that you didn't want to be like in the first place. So this is how it works. You've got to back yourself. You've got to risk something that matters every single time. And, not worry about what people think. There's this I'm going to tell you guys. I've learnt, there's probably a lot of things, but I've learnt there's 3 big things stop people from achieving their dreams or finding their success or, winning in general at life, whatever that means to you. And it's the first one is fear of failure. When you have fear of failure, you just think, but, what if I fail and look stupid, or what if I let everyone down, or what if I do this? So because of this fear of failure, it's so easy just to give up or not to get started in the first place. You see, fear of failure it's crippling. And you have to understand that everybody that's any good at anything has failed time and time and time again. Man, I've failed so many times I forgot half of them. That's why I want to share it with you guys so you can learn from my failures, so you haven't got to make the same mistakes. But, I've learned that success is actually failure turned inside out, so don't be afraid to fail. Number 2 is self-doubt, where you've kind of had it drummed into you since you're a little kid. Who are you to achieve anything? Why are you special? You think you're better than everybody else. You're just going to you got lucky and all this kind of stuff. And this is what I think psychologically builds us full of self-doubt from when we're little guys, little girls, that everybody might be a sister, a brother, cousin, best friend, someone at school, might even be a bully. It just tells you you're no good. And if it's someone in your family, they probably don't mean any harm by it, but it's just kind of what siblings do. You put each other down, and this also makes you very strong. But this is where the self-doubt starts, because I think every kid starts off with a dream, and they want to be an astronaut or a fireman or a famous actor or whatever it is. But of course, the education system, which is just so bad, it's almost as out of date as religion, that the education system lets people down because it doesn't cater for individuals or anyone with a kind of entrepreneurial spirit or someone that wants to work for themselves. They're like, you don't really fit into that mould, But every kid does start off with dreams. I really believe that. And the conditioning of society, from the education, from your parents, from your siblings, from your friends, from people that do and don't like you, is to push you down and just to say, well, don't dream too big. And I think with your family, they don't want to see you get hurt or to fail or to suffer some pain. So they just tell you, well, just dream less. Just scale those dreams down a little bit, Tiger. Just wind it down, because not many people really make it on. There's not many successful actors in the world, or how many people actually become an astronaut or whatever your kid dream is. But you can always change that dream. You can always modify it. But these three things will stop you from achieving anything. And that, as I said, is fear of failure, self-doubt. And the third one, and the one that you can really control, is worrying about what other people think. How many times you've wanted to do something in life, but you just think, well, that's not going to be met with approval, so I won't do it. It might be getting a tattoo, might be getting a motorcycle or a car that you've always really wanted because it was your passion. It might be taking up a sport. It might be competing in a body show. It might be it might be anything at all. It might be taking an acting lesson. It might be just anything that you dreamed of doing. And you think, I won't do that because my auntie or my mum or my grandmother or my neighbour or someone won't approve. Or you worry about what people around you, like your peers, are going to think. Oh, everyone will think I'm stupid. I won't be popular anymore. Well, the problem with that is they win and you lose and you don't get to achieve your dreams because of what you thought someone else might think. Now, you don't even know what anyone's thinking ever, and half the time they tell you what they want you to hear, not what they're actually thinking, so you just never know. And the people that, you see it online all the time, haters, trolls, haters, all this kind of thing, and people using that as an excuse or to feel sorry for themselves. All these haters want me to fail. Maybe, but here's the thing: if they really hate you, they're gonna laugh at you anyway, man. They're gonna laugh when you fail. They're gonna be the first people to stand over you and go, I told you so. You're just like everybody else. You're a loser. Or if you win, or you get really good at shit, or you succeed, or you go to another level that even they couldn't have wanted you to get to, they're just going to say, well, you got lucky, or, you're not a very nice person, or you've changed, or whatever. So this is the problem. The people that you worry about the most, which are the people who really don't like you to start with, they don't give a shit about you or your success or your happiness or anything else. So this actually stops you from doing what you really were what you were destined to do when you had these dreams. So just think about that for a minute, because we're all going to get old. We're all going to die. Everybody on the earth is kind of on their way to the end. If you think about it, it sounds morbid, but I quite often get asked when I do seminars and Relentless Momentum talks, people I say, what's your greatest motivation, or what's your greatest fear? And it's the same thing. My motivation and my greatest fear, exactly the same thing, is that I never want to get to my deathbed and to think that I didn't try, or I didn't believe in myself, or I didn't, have a go. And to me, that's to get to that point in your life and to have regret is the scariest, most frightening thing that I can think up. I'm not scared of heights or critters or any normal kind of things that people are scared of. I'm scared of regret. And I think this is a great driving force, and that's what keeps me motivated most of the time on trying to achieve what I set out to do, is because I know that if I don't, I'm going to just wake up one day and go, what if I had taken a chance? What if I had believed in myself? What if I had stopped listening to others? What if I had bigger balls and more courage and just took life on my own terms and actually made it work? And I think I've learned that there's a small percentage of people actually get to that point where they can look back at their life and go, wow, what a ride. I could not have packed more into that shit if I tried. Well, this is the mindset I think you have to have, and it's certainly the one that I want to have and I choose to have, because, we're not here for a long time, and it goes so fast, every year seems to go faster. And you think, if you just pack as much as you can into each day, to have fun doing what you do, and to find something that makes you happy. And it's not... See, happiness is a funny thing, because everybody wants it, and everybody craves it, and everybody, as much as they don't put an onus on it, they want some happiness in their life, So I think with your work, you spend half your life at work, so you might as well find something you enjoy doing. And you can't just say, money will buy you happiness, because it doesn't. There's so many wealthy people that are screwed up in the head, and in fact in therapy, because they thought that when they got rich or when they got successful, they'd be happy. It's that thing of, when I get there, I'll be happy. If I lose that weight, then I'll be happy. Or if I do that show, I'll be happy. If I get the girl or get the guy, I'll be happy. If I get the house on the hill or the $1 million in the bank, then I'll be happy. Well, one thing I've learned from all my people watching the experience Because you won't be happy, man, unless you enjoy the process, unless you enjoy the good days along with the bad days. And you're going to have them. And you enjoy your failures and your despair, and the loneliness that you impose on yourself sometimes by trying to be different, trying to outwork everybody. Because there's some things you can control in life. And most of that is your effort and your attitude. And I seriously think that if you've got that right attitude and you believe in yourself and you find something that makes you tick, then you can really be happy, And most days you're still going to screw up and fail and do dumb shit. Everybody does. But, you can put your head down at night most days and go, wow, that was pretty cool. I couldn't have packed much more in. I couldn't have tried any harder. I couldn't have believed in myself more. And these are the keys to happiness and success. And I think a lot of people go through life not finding, what really makes them tick. And I get asked that a lot. People say, well, how do you know when you found your true passion or your true calling or the right career for yourself? Well, you don't really know, and you might set out to do something and actually not like it. And a lot of people go to college or university and go through a course that, they're 16 or 17, they have to decide. There's this pressure. You must decide what you do for the rest of your life. Choose now. Choose wisely. And then the parents will be on your back saying, well, we're paying for that university course, so you better be good at it. And, people get through, it might be law or accounting or whatever, engineering. They get to the end and go, oh, I never wanted to be an accountant. I never wanted to be a school teacher, but now I'm so close now. I might as well finish off the course and get the qualification, so I've got something to fall back on. This is after you already realise you hate it. And then the other half of them's, mum and dad went without, for a long time to give me this opportunity to go to college, so I'll be letting them down if I go through this course and then don't actually become the lawyer or the doctor or the accountant, so I'll just do it anyway. And then a few years down the track, you're addicted to drugs, or you're getting therapy for your depression, or you're beating up on someone you love because you hate your life because it sucks. So this is why you've got to choose carefully and be ready to change when it's not for you. But back to the question of how do you know when you found your calling or your passion or your right career? When something keeps you awake at night and wakes you up in the morning and makes you forget to eat and sleep sometimes, then you found, your true passion. And if you find that, you can work everything else out. Then you can focus on what you can do and not what you can't do. You can do a little bit of that each day. If you just do a little bit of something every single day to take yourself forward to what you're dreaming about, it starts to add up. You start to get shit done. You start to build momentum. You start crossing things off your list and you think, okay, well, I can't afford to do that big thing, but there's 10 little things I can do now to go forward. You might even amaze yourself once you start to believe, and achieve and get the things done. I can tell you there's no such thing as luck. I just don't believe in it. It's not going to happen. And if you're waiting for your lucky day, you're probably going to be let down and you're probably going to procrastinate doing things you really need to do because you just might get lucky sitting there and waiting for, the luck fairy. Come on, guys. And worst of all, you start to feel sorry for yourself. And if you're actually sitting around feeling sorry for yourself, well, let's see how that works out. Because everybody's got some shit going on. Nobody's got a perfect life. Nobody. And just listen again. Everybody's got some shit going on. And nobody's life's perfect. And you might look from the outside and think, oh, so-and-so's got the perfect life. Believe me, they've got their dark days just like everyone else. So snap out of it and get busy. Because self-importance, self-pity, and a sense of entitlement are actually boring and will make you the miserable prick that everybody wants to walk away from and not to be around. So you've got to get moving, man. You've got to do something every day, just something. Remember this. Your worst day might be better than somebody's best day. Just think about that for a moment. When you're sitting around complaining and feeling sorry for yourself or talking shit about the weather or bitching on someone, there's someone somewhere in the world who would chop off their leg to have your problems because they're not really problems. You live in a great society with a million opportunities. You just don't know it. What about this? If you can't do something good for yourself, just be kind and do something good for someone else. All right? That's today's little rant. Hope you guys all enjoyed it. We've got much more to talk about, and I really want to get these podcasts pumping. So there's one for the books. All right, peace, y'all.